what are the standards that we measure ourselves by as human beings? And I believe that we're at the threshold of a next step of what it truly means to be human in all our incredible faculties, innate potentials, and that we have. I realize that the systems in which we're working are not constructed for the human being to survive. I really want to share the end vision that I have. Here's what I see: the human of the future. How might we be thriving? Of the actual architecture of our dynamics. What creates our behavior is that we have to fit in to a dynamic that is kind of mainstream. And I think that that's what I question on and on and on and on all the time. This is how I see it. Clusters of futuristic villages of around 150 people, where each individual has his or her own room for sleeping, like your own space. Kids can have larger rooms, like nests, if they want to have like pajama parties all the time. And the whole societal dynamic changes. So each person has his or her own room. And then I came to find out last year about my human design. So I'm a manifesting generator 6/2. And also in human design, it calls for sleeping alone, like having your own place to regenerate, to sleep. So it's in alignment with that as well. I was happy to find that out. And so there are these aspects that I feel that are necessary to shift the societal dynamics. And I'm not talking about another commune or community, because the world is thriving with plenty of these, and some people are thriving and others are working through it in the best way they can. But this is for a more, it's on a larger scale, which can be implemented. But I would like to create an experiment, a societal experiment in 3 locations to see if this works, like 3 petri dishes, 150 people, 150 people, and 150 people, more or less per space. So like 60 or 80% of the people are stable there because they just love it, and then others can be coming and going, or going between one place and the other. So one aspect is that it's based on the Dunbar number, and then we have, inspired by John Adams, there's atelier. John Adams had this wonderful quote that he came up with in a letter for his wife Abigail in 1780. I must study war and politics to give my sons the liberty to study mathematics and philosophy, and they should study mathematics, philosophy, architecture, naval architecture, commerce, agriculture. And I will put the quote properly here. But in order to give their sons, that's the 3rd generation, the right to study music, tapestry, painting, porcelain. And today we can add in robotics and meditation and Tai Chi. And there's an array of things that we're multifaceted beings. So these locations are based on the Dunbar number. Each individual has his or her own room. That can be a pod, a tiny house, like just as a sleeping space. It can be a van. And I'm not looking to do something a la ramasse. I'm not looking to do something without any means. That's why it's taking me so long, because I'd like to do it in a very specific scientific way. Each person has his or her own room. Then we have these ateliers. These places, for example, who has a specific skill? Well, then we could have a woodworks, for example. If somebody's passionate about woodworks or wants to learn woodworks, well, then you'd have an atelier that enables that to come about, to have woodworks. And it can be sewing and mathematics, robotics. One place can be more musical, another one can be more techie. But the point is that there are places for us to develop our skills at any time of day and night. that each space should be accessible 24/7. Because I'm somebody, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I love it. It's my power hour. And I think, and I know that when we have each other's back and we can be more engaged in supporting ourselves, so that you go out of your little pod, your bedroom, and you can walk to the meditation room, for example. Not room, like a pod, another one, and or a dome. And then whoever's meditating in that moment, well, we just naturally gather there without, like, can you imagine having a world without necessarily having a telephone in your hand all the time? What might that look like? And that's what I imagine. What might that look like if we could develop our telepathic skills, for example? I've been so influenced lately by watching the telepathy tapes, listening to the telepathy tapes, and watching the podcasts like of Diane Hennessy Powell, oopsie daisies, and Kai Dickens, and there's so many. It's an incredible epoch in which we're living. I've heard Joe Dispenza's testimonials, people who have walked out of a weekly meditation session that he holds, and their lives have completely been transformed. And these are facts. And I don't know, it's not me, I don't have a single iota in me to complain about what's not happening on main media or what we should be doing, but this is just a vision that I have, that I'm passionate about, and I get asked to produce business plans, and there's so many people here in Switzerland who have so much money, but I now realize people are detached. And the reason, I don't think people are bad, I just think that we've all suffered as children because our parents have done the best they can with us, but somehow the system isn't, and it's okay, we're in plain evolution, we're in this is a part of evolution, so it's okay. But when we're not whole, then we're still not functioning as best for the larger, greater good. To normalize a lot of the situations that we have, each place should have like a sauna, hammam, jacuzzi, cold plunge, only for the men who's born in a male body. Then a second one for a female body, anybody who's born in a female body. And then a third one which is mixed, like speaking about Solomon Ash and the experiment of Solomon Ash about compliance. And we're playing so small, and that's what I would like to leave. Should I not wake up tomorrow morning and to try this out? It's an experiment. 3 locations, inspired a bit by the fungi and how they connect in nature, and they replicate, and I'm inspired by the beauty of fractals in nature. And what might that look like if we create a whole new realm of fractals for ourselves, based on the Dunbar number? Each person has his or her own sleeping space. Children can have larger spaces and sleep together, or with their parents if they choose to sleep together, or one or the other. But it has to be a choice. Voila. I don't want to switch this video off without having said it's about choice. And yes, we can choose to take responsibility for how we feel at this moment. And we've all been in this long haul of healing and healing and healing and healing. And now I ask, is anybody out there that has done a lot of healing work and will always be healing and will always be improving, but who understands, who feels a resonance with this vision, if we create architecture that serves our potential, if we can create architecture, if anyone has land and vision and a desire to do something that can then be replicable in war-stricken areas, and I understand this. It's not like I'm completely naive, but in war-stricken places, when the people, us people, actually take responsibility for implementing a new reality in which we can live. I'm like, I know it's going to work because I can just see it, I can feel it, I can smell it, I know it. If we've got animal sanctuaries in each of these places, we're connected to nature. This is my dream, this is what I see, and I've envisioned for a long time, and I wonder, what might that look like if we actually test it? 3 locations to start with, in different places of the world, with this architectural dynamic, in which there's the spa and place to take care of oneself. Like, we have a body. All the way the world functions is mostly to keep our minds engaged. And what I'm suggesting here is to have a balance between our minds, our actual physical bodies. So if you go out in the morning, we'll be more inclined to do any kind of sport if there's a dojo there, or someone's doing yoga or meditation or tai chi or whatever it might be, archery, and it's there, it's accessible, then we'll be inclined to do it, to learn, to broaden our skills and our horizons and to tap into, have access when we are curious about things. So these ateliers are important. It's also important to understand that frontiers, most of what we acquiesce to are just ideas of nations. I'm big on Charlie Chaplin recently, and I heard him saying that he's an internationalist because nationalism calls for wars. So I'm going to find the exact quote, but I was so happy about that. And I'm happy to be able to learn more and more of all the thinkers that have been out there in history, and it's about us honoring them today. That's why I bring the example of John Adams's quote. And there's also Buckminster Fuller, who I'm a big fan of. And clearly I had having met Jacques Fresco, who was such a visionary, way into the future, the idea of actually being congruent enough about not having money and that. And I'm not going to get into this. I think that as a community, we can earn a lot of income, or like Buckminster Fuller said, one person can get 10,000 off the grid, instead of having 10,000 people justifying their lives and being supervisors of supervisors of supervising the supervisors, which is kind of like a boring puppet show now. And I haven't seen any main media. Yesterday, my mind was blown because I realized that there's a lot of extremism happening around the world, and I'm just so focused on meditation, spending time in nature and studying the likes of Mario Vargas Llosa, or about like, why are things the way they are? If there's any way that we can create these 3 experimental locations, but in a high, having the means to do it, like really do it in the most luxurious way possible. And for me, luxurious means seeing the stars, having clean water, having the sounds of nature, and having access to the things that we need, and being able to create them and build them or acquire them for a greater good. Because it's up to us to now leave a legacy and bridge the chasm between worlds of awakening and spiritually awakening people. And I have not found a lot of solutions or congruent truly down to earth, dare I say, suggestions of how we can actually be living in a advanced human way for the best interest, for our personal development. And that's what I'm so curious about, because I've got this vision. As a mother, it's what pulls me, and I have a certainty that we can be playing so much better in this mesmerizing voyage of life on this planet, in which we are all living together with nature and all the other sentient animals, beings. Thank you.
The future is now.